Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Sulaiman Rahim here, Messenger of the Covenant, breaker of the seven seals. Messenger of the Covenant and breaker of the seven seals. That should be important to you because it identifies distinctly who Joshua would be, or Suleiman would be, or Jesus would be. It's like a badge. The police have a badge, so you can prove that who he says he is. So if they haven't broken the seals, and not talking about the covenant, Abrahamic covenant, that most of you don't know anything about, that you should read is both in the so-called New Testament and Old Testament, because you don't know about it, then you can't recognize Jesus when he shows up. You can't recognize Suleiman. You can't recognize Joshua. But Joshua is just another name for Jesus. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. And we're going to be talking about the demon Genesis. Demon Genesis. Most of you never heard of the demons before. Never heard demons before. Didn't know what they were. They don't talk about them in the churches. Maybe in the movies every now and then. And to the extent they talk about them, it's like some kind of superstitious or mystical thing, you see. But before now, no one actually gave you a definition of what a demon is. But it's spoken of in the scriptures. It's very clear in the scriptures, right? It should be for you religious brothers and sisters out there, right? That was the first battle Jesus had with the demons, because they was plaguing people. There was people suffering from demon plagues, and they didn't even know it. It took Jesus to recognize who the demons were and to expose and dispose of them. So you should know what a demon is. See? Because no one would know, no one even knew they existed until Jesus came and exposed them. Very important. See? So now I'm bringing to you what a demon is. Now it's hidden in the word, because demon, half devil, half man. Now we're talking about the Genesis, demon Genesis. Well, the demon Genesis started, this is the age of the demons. See, it's a subset of the age of the devils. 6,000 years the devils had, but the demons only had 600 years. They came to existence 600 years ago. See, that's when the demon Genesis began. When the Europeans started coming out of the Dark Ages, the 1,000-year millennia, they talk about chapter 20, they was thrown into the pit and locked in by the Islamic Empire for 1,000 years. So they emerged to cover the whole planet, Gog and Magog. That's America and Britain, the only two world powers that the Europeans ever had. So world powers, not continental powers, local, but world powers. That's Britain and America. I'm going to divert here for a second, brothers and sisters, because this is a very interesting thing you should know about. See, because they want to tell you that evolution, because see, they didn't know the world was round before 400 and 500 years ago. See? And they're supposed to be the most advanced civilization, and no one knew anything before them. But I'm going to give you a little something to think about, you scientific brothers and sisters out there. The Earth is 24,926 miles in circumference. Earth is 24,926 miles in circumference. Keep mind that 24 now. It rotates at 1,037 1/3 miles per hour. Rotates at 1,037 1/3 miles per hour. So if you divide that into circumference, you get 24. That's the 24 hours. Now, the world has been on a 24-hour, idea, concept, forever. The Egyptians had it. Before them, the Romans, so, but they didn't know the world was round. So how did they come up with 24 hours? Why didn't they come up with 33 hours? And incidentally, for you physicists and biological brothers and sisters, they don't tell you this, they probably don't know it, but your body absorbs energy, regenerates on a 24-hour basis. That's why you sleep. See, it's like a cell phone that has 24 hours worth of energy, right? Charge. But then you take and start running movies and things on it, right? And so therefore use up before that. So now right, you have to, so in other words, say that the cell phone recharges itself every 24 hours. See? But you use up all the energy in 16 hours. That means 8 hours you got to put it on charge, and that's why we sleep. Because the problem is that we absorb, we regenerate every 24 hours. See? But we don't have enough energy to take us the whole 24 hours, so we have to sleep. You have to sleep. Because we suffer energy deprivation, and I'm going to hit on that just slightly, because the Quran, you Quranic brothers and sisters out there, tells you that the earth and the heavens were one originally, and then we expanded the heavens. So all the energy out there used to be atmosphere of the earth. That means as you start expanding out there and start creating galaxies and constellations and stars and things, all the energy out there, then you have less here. So that means we have less energy than we used to have. So we get to the point of maximum expansion of the universe. We have minimal energy, which is called energy deprivation. We don't have as much energy. So therefore, and this we ran into that particular phase 50,000 years ago. So then we had to begin to sleep because we didn't have enough energy to maintain a 24-hour. That's why Master Prophet Muhammad doesn't have to sleep, because he took on the devil's body, which doesn't require, does not suffer from energy deprivation, and his discipline, and we will be like him once we get more energy, right? Because we don't have enough energy to last more than 16 hours. But as soon as, when we change it in the twinkle of an eye, we'll have enough energy, so we're not sleeping anymore. We don't even think about sleep, never get tired. But think about the earth. Now, how in the world did they come up with 24 hours if they did not know the world was round, did not know that it rotated 1,037,000 miles, 1,037 and 1/3 miles per hour? How did they come with 24 hours? The magic is just, and the 20 and the 12 inches a foot and the 3 foot. How did they know that? How did they know that? You see, because they give you a whole bunch of BS. There was civilization long before them. The Quran tells you there was greater civilizations long before this. They make it think this is the greatest civilization ever. This is nothing. This civilization, so-called civilization they have, is nothing compared to the civilization we've had in the past and the one we're getting ready to build. I just thought I'd say that, brothers and sisters. Let's get back to the demons. See, when they broke out in Europe and they started spreading all over the world, most of the people in the world had never seen Caucasians, white people, and everybody was black everywhere they went. See, in Hawaii, the people was black with nappy hair. You can go research it. Go and research the pictures of the prince, the princess, and the princess that was running Hawaii when they took Hawaii over. They had the pictures online, and they black, just as dark as you, dark as me, some darker with nappy hair. Because I've been to Hawaii, and the real Hawaiians have nappy hair. The ones you see now are polytheians. They come from China, every place else. Polynesians, that's what I meant to say. They're not the original Hawaiians. Same thing in Guam. They killed all the people in Guam. They killed all the men, all of them, and raped the women. So when you see Guam, all you see dark-skinned Spanish people. In Australia, they had a program they was going to breed the Australian out of the Australians. So they was taking the women and impregnating them, and then the children, they were separated from their mothers and have them kept aside, because that was going to be the new breed they was going to have. See, going to replace Aborigines. This is what they did. The thing is that the world is light as it is now. The Arabs was dark at that time. The Arabs was dark skinned. You see, that's probably one of the reasons why they didn't want to show you a picture of Prophet Muhammad. They obviously they knew what he looked like. So how come if they didn't have your picture, they should have gave you a statement? There's nothing wrong with giving you a statement, say he's this complexion. They have it, they just don't want you to know. Because if he was white, then they would be giving you a picture and they'd give some kind of description. But he was dark with nappy hair and they don't want you to know that. You see, just like they don't want to know about Jesus, the true one, even though they have pictures hidden in Germany, the Black Madonna they call it. Because before a few hundred years ago, right, maybe less than that, that was they depicted Jesus and his mother as being black. This is a fact. You can Google it. The pictures out there. Statues. See? But something happened. They had to, back off all of that. See? So when they went all over the world, see, when they went to Africa, Africa thought they was leprous. They didn't know what to make of these people. They didn't know what to make of white people. And when they went to a place else, and remember, they didn't take their women with them. And so all the world is light now, all over the place. South America, right? The Native Americans, right? How did they get light like that? Because they was raping. They went out stealing, killing, and to destroy. They was raping everywhere they went. And some of it was totally intentional because they knew, just like the scriptures know, which they're not telling you now, that by doing that, they was producing a breed of people, a hybrid people that would look like the people they was trying to take advantage of, but it had their nature would be loyal to them. They didn't call them demons, see? But they knew that by raping these, they would produce a whole hybrid people that would be loyal to them, but look like the people they was trying to abuse and control. See, they didn't call them demons. That was purposeful. See, that was the beginning of the demon plague. Because when they went to Africa, they couldn't get anywhere. But then when they sent their hybrid by raping the women, they still kidnapping the women and raping them, and then raising their children, sending them back, then they was able to do it because the children would go in, they looked like the Africans, but they had the nature of the Caucasians, right? And they would go in and destabilize the country and do whatever, whatever they was told to do by their daddies. See? And in many cases, they was just a natural destabilization effect, because they would be they'd be at odds with the civilization they were in. If they was in China, they'd be at odds with the Chinese because they look like Chinese, but they would all be disruptive. They'd be disruptive, and they cause all kinds of confusion and stuff when there wasn't any confusion. Because when they went all over the world, there wasn't any confusion. There wasn't any war. They didn't go any place and find people warring against each other. People was at peace. People was prosperous, security. They say, oh, capitalism raised people from poverty. That's BS. Capitalism would put people, the whole world into poverty because capitalism was taking everybody's resources and enslaving them. Capitalism was what slavery was all about. That's what capitalism is all about. Taking and selling us. Oh, see, you got to understand these things, brothers and sisters. So they had to create this hybrid, right, people in order to go in and affect all other places they was trying to take over. Trying to take over the world. They couldn't do it direct because people right away was adverse to them. And plus, they didn't understand the people anyway. But their children did. Their wolves in sheep clothing, they understood them because they had that connection. They had that bridge between, because they had a little bit of the other people in them. But they still had their father's nature. That's why it says the chaff was sowed amongst the wheat. See? And no one could separate them until Suleiman come or Jesus came and he was able to separate them out. See? The demon plague in Mark, the chaff sown amongst the wheat, the wolves in sheep clothing. How many ways do I need to tell you? That's the genesis of the demon plague. They were all over the planet. They went all over the planet doing that. all over the planet. And so right now you have a demon plague, and the worst plague is in the black community in America, right? Because they say, the scriptures tell us, out of 34 million, half of them are demons. Because they did a lot of raping here. There's a lot of raping here. So half, and that's why you see they are role models, they're all over TV, all over, because they're not suffering energy deprivation like we are. That means they're more successful because this is their father's reality that they created. So they'd be successful in it because they have the same nature. We would not be successful in it because we have a different nature. When we act on our nature, we end up in prison. See, because we have to conform to their laws, which is against our nature. But the demons not against their nature. They're waving the flag. Remember George Foreman waving the flag? See, we talking about America. You understand? We love America. You get Farrakhan, he's supposed to speak later on today, right? He loves America. He wants to stay here. We ain't going nowhere. Because he's a demon. His father's the devil. He admitted it. And now he's sitting in Elijah's seat, deceiving the people. He can't believe his luck. It's just like a person is passing as white, right? And they're really black. And they end up in charge of KKK. What do you think that would be like? He can't believe his luck. You think he's going to push the KKK message? He's going to undermine it. And that's what Farrakhan is doing. He's undermining everything Elijah Muhammad taught. Everything. See? But he's playing Elijah Muhammad's music. You know, the form, his dress, right? The uniforms, the books, everything else. But what he's saying, his lyrics, is totally adverse to everything Elijah Muhammad taught. Elijah Muhammad said, we're going back home. Master Muhammad said, we're not return back to the plantation? We're not return until we have thorough knowledge of self. The Abrahamic covenant that you brothers and sisters need to be aware of is in the so-called Old Testament. The New Testament that refers to you. That's a promise that will take place after 400 years, right? It says, we will return to our own land, not stay here. It said we'd be in a foreign land that doesn't belong to us. Farrakhan said this land belongs to us. God says it does belong to us, that we return to our land where we came from. So he's calling God a liar. He's calling Elijah Muhammad a liar. So he knows best. See? We don't want to stay here. We want to leave these people, but he wants to stay because he's a demon. He wants to, because he said in Mark, he begged Jesus, please don't make me leave this country. Read it. Legion, Louis Eugene Grounds, NOI backwards. L-E-G, Louis Eugene Grounds, that's his real name, of NOI backwards. Legion, L-E-G-I-O-N. I-O-N is NOI backwards. How could you can't make that stuff up, brothers and sisters? See? He said his mother was raped by a white man, Portuguese. So she tried to abort him 3 times. We have pictures of his father just like him, Percival Clark. See? So he's a son of perdition. But you understand the demon genesis. So we're in the age of demons now, and they've been running around undetected for nearly 600 years because nobody knew who they were. I'm just telling you, reveal. It said Jesus would have to come and reveal it. It says Suleiman would be the one that revealed it. Even in Masonry, it says Solomon was the only one that could identify and control the demons. So now they have been exposed because you did not know what a demon was. Half demon, half mind. That's where demon comes from. See? So now we suffer a demon plague. They've been roving the whole planet for 600 years. Not just us. You got them in Mexico. You got them in Australia. You got them everywhere. It's their seed masquerading as the native population. Destabilizing the native population. See, that's just one of the tricks. I'm going to take a segue here to point another trick. They have this thing called tripwires. In every continent, they have a tripwire. See? Well, you might call them tripwires. You might call them the stabilization fortresses. Because like in Africa, they had South Africa. It was there to destabilize Africa. So they keep it under control. See? In the Middle East, they have false Israel to keep the Middle East destabilized, because that's the stabilizing factor in the Middle East. They have these things all over the world. The British set that up. In India, you got Pakistan. See, all these things they set up to stabilize all these different regions, to keep conflict going, and that way they can rule them. Divide and conquer. So I thought I'd just mention that. You have to understand, brothers and sisters. See, this is not a joke. The demon Genesis, the Quran talks about the open enemy. See, that means there must be a hidden enemy. And that's the demons. They're all over the place. And remember, you have to understand, because of energy deprivation, right? See, they are successful because we still suffer energy deprivation, right? So we're not suffering to the extent we were before. We're not suffering because now we came out of it in 1948. That was the end of it. But now we're suffering self-imposed energy deprivation because the demons are telling us to misuse our energy. We have enough energy to maintain, that's enough to maintain ourselves. But now, hey, no, man, you need to go into concerts. You need to play, watch NFL and NBA. You need to do all this BS, hang out, have free sex, everything else. See, so you misuse your energy. So now you said that self-imposed energy deprivation. So now you're suffering hypertension, diabetes, and all other things, incarceration, all these different things, bad luck, because you misuse your energy. That's their purpose. Elijah Muhammad came to try to tell you, don't misuse your energy. He tried how you need to live, try to conserve your energy, right? But because you're in a period right now, it's called self-imposed energy deprivation. Energy deprivation is another form of bad luck. And you're suffering it because you misuse your energy. You have enough to maintain yourself now, but you're misusing it. So it's self-imposed. And the demons, that's their objective, to do that, because they're supposed to be. See, that's the same thing they did back in so-called chain slavery. They held them out as role models. So it was the house Negroes, that was the master's children, because you was never going to get work in the house. They weren't going to let you do it. He let his children, because he could trust them, even though they looked like you. So he could send them out to spy on you. They'd be taskmaster and whip your ass and everything, right? But their loyalty was to a master. Period. See, so they ate better food, had better clothes, everything. And so master would tell you, if you be good, then you could be like them. They had the demons tell you the same thing. If you be a good Negro, right, and you work hard, you could be like them. You was never going to be like them. But that was incentive to get you to work harder. And that's the same thing they're doing right now. Keep your nose clean, work hard, and you could be like Denzel. See, you can be like Jay-Z. See, you can be like all these characters, right? You see, you be like Cosby. You be like, and you ain't gonna never be like them because they house Negroes, they master's children, and you ain't gonna never get to there. You see, one of their own, Copeland, he stepped out of line and slapped him down. You have those people, they never speak against America. Not really. They love their master. They love their dad. They're not their master. Their daddies, their masters, their daddies. And they tell us to love America, wave the flag. Because anytime one of us step up and get into the house, slip into the house, and we don't raise the flag, we start speaking out what they want to call CRT, they slam your ass down, you don't hear from me no more. Oh man, she didn't wave the flag. So you don't hear from them anymore. Because see, they kind of slipped in the house accidentally. You see, and they get them out fast. See, because they will wave the flag because they're lined up. I mean, that's their nature. They love daddy. They love white folks because that's the only problem they have is they're not treated like his other children. That's what integration was all about. They wanted to get closer to dad. They wanted to get back in the house. They wanted to get deeper into the house. See, they want to be accepted. That's what integration was all about. To be accepted 100% just like you accept your white children, your white tone children. As soon as they got that go, they disappeared. They left. Because when I was growing up, they was in the black community. They had their stores, they had their businesses, doctors, lawyers, live right next door to you. As soon as that door opened, they left. You don't see them no more except they need your boat or some money from you. And they marrying master's daughters and master's sons. Because that's their nature. You can't blame them. But you blame yourself, be ignorant, because back when you changed slavery, you knew to recognize them. You don't trust them. Because that's master's son. That's master, don't trust him. But now, somehow you lost knowledge of it. And so now they deceive you. So you're trying to be like them, or you admire them, you worship them, like you worship Farrakhan. As far as the devil, he says we had the proof. He's not no Messiah. He's the son of perdition. That's the demon genesis, brothers and sisters. The demon genesis. See. So we're in the age of demons. The 600-year period when they were roaming the earth undetected, wolves in sheep clothing, causing havoc all over the world, especially amongst us. And they tear us apart. And you speak, man, you just cite this divisive, man. You turn blacks against each other. No. One drop of black blood makes you black. No, that's not biologically sound. That's not scientifically sound. It's not mathematically sound. It's a false. Even they knew. That's what I'm saying. They knew that the man carries a seed. That was basic knowledge. You put an apple seed in the ground, so come an apple. I don't care what that ground, what's the nature of that ground. It'll come. The only thing the ground can do is affect the quality of the apple, but it won't change the quality. It won't change the nature of it. You know, it'd be a good apple tree or a weak apple tree, a bitter apple tree, but still be an apple tree. And the seed is alive. The sperm is alive. The egg is not. It's living material, but it's not alive. The sperm is you. You are the sperm. And you got an egg and use material from the egg to develop yourself, but you are the sperm. That means if you came from your father, that means you are a devil if your father's a devil. I mean, that's basic. That means you're skin folk, you're not kinfolk, and you're an enemy. You're a hidden enemy. You're a wolf in sheep clothing, just like Jesus said. Beware of them. And they're just stirring our community because they don't want you to have this knowledge, and they're blocking you from having this understanding. And so you think they're yours, and next thing you know, you sleep with one, right? And you live with one, and they're tearing you all apart because they're demons. They're destroying your kids. I've had my experience. They have your children destroy your children. Your demons. And so that was the one Jesus had to deal with. He had first revealed who they were, because no one knew who they were. Nobody even knew who they were, know anything about a demon. He had to expose them and then dispose them. And that's what's happening right now. And the chief demon legion, Louis Eugene Grounds, the NOI backwards, he's about to be disposed. Said, who the Lord would consume with the spirit of the mouth and destroy with his arrival. He's on a deathbed, but he ain't dying yet. See, consumer has to get hold of him. That's the demon genesis, brothers and sisters. So particularly in South America, you see the light ones down there? Most of them are demons. Why? Because the Spanish did not bring their women, so they didn't get light. But sleeping with Spanish women, they got light because they was being raped by Spanish men. That means most of them are demons down there. See? But he's bringing them into the NOI. He go further than that. He's bringing them in. They wear uniforms and everything else. But he's also said the devils are welcome too. So he got devils in there too, walking around with an FOI uniform and an MGT clothing. See? We're plagued by demons, and I'm identifying them. And we're going to get rid of them soon. See, they're on their way out. So you have to understand the demon genesis. 600 years. It's purposeful, but they never called them demons. Again, they knew that they even understood back then. This is common knowledge. It's biblical knowledge. It's just basic knowledge. That the man carries a seed, and you are with your father. That's his basic knowledge. But somehow, in the modern day, we're confused now. And mostly black folks are confused because they don't want you to know you're plagued by demons, and demons are all around you, creating havoc in your community. And then when you say something, oh man, why are you putting the brothers down? You ain't my brother because you skin folk? Because you got the same skin tone? You ain't fooling me, but they're fooling you. And I'm trying to wake you up to it. But we're going to dispose them soon. See? So, flame zone out. Okay, brothers and sisters, I think I'm gonna wrap this up. Like I said, I want to just give a brief history. Maybe I'll go into more detail another time. Okay. But we're plagued by demons, and you need to know who demons are. See, they look like us, walk like us, talk like us, but when you listen to them, they have a master's agenda. See, that's their tell. Oh, we love America. We fight for America. We all the time. When we went to war or something, we. But see, they can say we. See, because they talking about their daddies, their swine daddies, or their master. See, so everything is we. Like, oh no, is that a white man talking? It is. He just got a black skin tone. Just listen to him. See? And then you understand who they are. Just listen to them carefully. See? Because their nature is to their daddies. See? And they hate you just as much as their daddies do. In fact, they hate you even more. See? Because you're the reason why daddy don't accept them 100% like his white children. See? They hate you with a passion. They use you, right? They're parasites. They come and suck your blood. They come to the community, take whatever they can take from you, and they give you nothing back. That's what Farrakhan, he's been taking for 40-some years. He hasn't get a damn thing back. Nothing. He hasn't produced a damn thing. He's a chief parasite. He's a chief demon. Understand, brothers and sisters, we're plagued by demons. But that plague's about to come to an end. Because it says Suleiman will come and expose them. Because you didn't know who they were before I told you. And if you think about it, it's obvious, it's clear. Because you used to go on TV, right? And what you go into Hollywood and everything else, they all from massa. And they trying to get you, right? Your role model, be a role models. Should be like them, the preachers. They're all demons. Love master, obey master. Just think about that for a minute. I'm gonna close out. So you're supposed to love them even though they hate you and despise you. See, you're supposed to obey master. So in other words, master's raping you and beating you. Thank you, master. And you're supposed to love him for it. If you love him for it, then why would he continue doing it? I love you, master. Oh, you raped me, I love you. That's what you're supposed to do according to them. Oh no, think about it. You're supposed to love those that hurt you, despise you. So I love you, master. I know maybe what you're doing wrong, but I love you anyway. So why would he stop doing it? See? Because that's bullshit. But they're preaching that. These preachers love America. When one preacher stepped out of line, Martin Luther King, right? He went to talk to Elijah Muhammad. He got schooled on the promised land. By Abrahamic covenant, he came out and gave a promised land speech. He said, we're going to leave here and go back home. If he said it, he said, anything he'd get there. But he said, we're going to go to the promised land. He said, he's seen we're going to return. And they blowed his brains out the next day. Because they told him, don't get that speech. That's another story. I'm not going to it. You understand? Because they keep you deceived. And the demons are the main tool to do it because they couldn't do it on themselves. Because you were suspicious of them. You're suspicious of white folks right up on. But you wouldn't be suspicious of someone look like you. A wolf in sheep clothing. You wouldn't be suspicious of that until you turn out to be wolf shit. Eat your ass. Then maybe you understand then. Because they talking like devils, right? Then they devils. But that's what they really think. That's their nature. Trying to convince you to love America, raise the flag, all that kind of stuff. We talk against it, they run to tell Master quick. Man, he don't like white people. He don't like America. I've had it happen to me. I have my own business constantly. Oh man, he's Rahim. He's one of the Muslims. They don't like America. And I end up with my contract running trouble. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum.